You're listening to the Spend 10K a Day podcast, brought to you by the performance marketing experts at Mute 6. This is your source for cutting-edge insight into the world of online advertising from the team with more Facebook case studies in 2016 than any other agency on the planet. Here are your hosts, Steve Wise and Stuart Anderson.
Welcome back to the Spend 10K a Day podcast. I am Stuart Anderson. My buddy with me here is Steve Weiss. Today we're going to be talking about Facebook ads for B2B businesses, so business to business, rather than business to consumer or B2C businesses, which is most of the people that are advertising on Facebook.
Yep. The first thing to really understand is, what is your sales process?
Yeah.
You know, what is the process in which you sell a product? Mm-hmm. And what we usually like to do is we like to write that out in, like, you know, on a whiteboard or on a chalkboard, and just really figure out where in that sales process could we, you know, start running ads and generating new users.
Yeah.
Where's the big pain points? And I think, Stuart, your main expertise here is you're our CMO, so you actually day to day are running ads on Facebook targeting different B2B businesses. So can you talk a little more about your strategy in terms of both targeting as well as, you know, building out a funnel for that and, you know, using content?
Yeah.
I think using content is very important when you do B2B marketing on Facebook.
Absolutely. So I think, you know, not every business that's B2B is going to have a whole lot they can do on Facebook ads, but there's a few things that every B2B business should know if they even want to test it. The one main takeaway I will tell people is that the way that you're going to target and build audiences is going to be very, very different than the way you're going to do it for a B2C business. You know, B2C business, if you're building an email list, a customer list, typically the email addresses that you're going to get are going to be their personal email addresses. They're going to be the same ones they use for their Facebook account, which means that when you upload those lists, you can get a pretty good
match
rate. Yeah, your match rate's going to be very good.
Whereas in B2B, like the email addresses you upload for B2B, you will not get a high match rate.
Not at all.
You want to have a lot of people to target.
Exactly. So what you're going to actually be doing when you're building custom audiences is basing it off of WCAs, website custom audiences. So it's all going to be around website traffic.
Remarketing. Pretty much like the best audience that's going to, you know, order your product from B2B is going to be someone who's shown prior purchase intent and been to your website.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, remarketing is key. And, you know, another benefit of a B2B business is that, you know, versus, you know, the funnel or the sales cycle within a B2C business where it's a little bit fungible and people, you know, they move rather quickly through a funnel, or it's all a little bit, you know, it's precise but not super precise. Everything in B2B is very, very precise. They're going through specific steps in your sales process through your pipeline. And you can structure different messaging and different ads for each step if you wanted to. But, oh yeah, Steve.
So number one, I think what I want everyone to do if you're doing B2B marketing is make sure that you're doing website custom audiences. Make sure you have an audience pixel on your website, and then make sure that you have a mechanism of tracking the leads you capture from a Facebook ad. Make sure your conversion tracking is set up.
Definitely.
Number two, let's talk about content. I think content's really important. So again, like if you're doing B2B, it's not like B2C where you're doing hard sales, you know, you're doing discount codes. It's a little bit different type of sell. So you want to stay relevant in people's mind and bring value to them on a daily basis. You want to bring value to them that they can read, that they can understand, whether it's pieces of content around a specific topic that you're a thought leader of. So talk about marketing, actually using content.
Yeah.
And turning that into ads.
Yeah, I can talk about that definitely because we do that here at Mute 6 as well. So you think about the buyer's journey. There's three main steps that a B2B decision maker is going to go through when they decide to buy a product or service. It's awareness, consideration, and decision. And this is just like on the B2C side, kind of the top, middle, bottom funnel. You know, awareness is somebody becoming aware that they have a problem that they could solve. Consideration is when they're figuring out basically what kind of solution they want to pursue to solve their problem. And then decision is once they figured out how they want to solve their problem, it's which vendor that they want to go with. So there's different types of content that you can use at each step. So awareness, you're putting out content that tells people about, you know, some sort of issue or some sort of opportunity. Something that people might not be aware of or they might not know enough about.
You can market similar to how you have top of funnel, mid funnel, bottom of funnel. I guess, you know, from a messaging perspective, you can market to Facebook users in all three stages, from awareness to
definitely
to decision say that one more time, Stuart.
Awareness, consideration
to decision. So
yeah.
you could actually market. You could actually split up your funnel into different segmentation. So maybe all the users who've never engaged with you before, haven't been to your website, could be awareness.
Yeah.
And then the users who've engaged but haven't bought, they're still in the consideration process. So you're still serving them relevant content. Then decision-making process, you're showing case studies, you're showing relevant information that's going to infuse a decision, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about figuring out what are the types of content that somebody sees at each phase. Consideration, decision are where that's like a little bit more critical. You can be a little bit more experimental at the awareness phase. Find out what gets people interested, but like also, not just like, hey, I'm going to click this and read it and then bounce away. It's like they get interested and they want more. At the consideration phase, what you want is to, provide information, whether it be, SlideShare decks, presentations, white papers, anything that talks about why a certain way of solving a problem or capturing an opportunity is the right way to go about it. It's outlining benefits. It's talking about the specific features of this kind of solution. Really selling them on individual components or selling points. And then when you're in the decision phase, when somebody's there, that's when they need to know that you've already really sold them on the underlying concept of what your product or service does, but you need to differentiate yourself from the other offerings on the market. So if you're a software vendor and you have 3 or 4 competitors, what's the information that you could provide to somebody at the decision phase that's going to make them go with you? It's, sometimes the side-by-side comparisons, where you have the grids, it's like feature comparisons. Those are pretty effective. You can do case studies are really effective, like pretty much everywhere, especially if you have a case study if somebody's like switched from one vendor to another. Those are huge. Anything that tells people like, hey, we know like you want to do this. We're the best guys to do it. Like, what is the type of content? And there's certain ways to find out what that content is. And the best thing I can tell people is, if you've already been working with content in the past and now seeking to promote it on Facebook, look at what's been working. Talk to existing customers. Find out like, hey, which of the content.
You can even see a lot of the data in Google Analytics.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in GA too.
You can look into each content, each piece of content you generate, and figure out from a data-driven perspective what users are engaging with most, and actually promote that specific content on Facebook to new audiences as well as your current audience. So
absolutely.
So I think just a quick recap of what we discussed. Number 1, set up your custom audiences. Make sure that you're actually doing, remarketing properly for people who visit your website.
Yeah.
Then number 2, content/messaging. Figuring out, which type of content is going to infuse a person to actually want to talk to you and generate a warm lead. Maybe it's could be a case study. Could be a white paper. Could be a plethora of different types of information of value that you could share that you could leverage to generate leads. The last one I want to talk about is, which I think is really big on Facebook, is generating leads for live events.
Yeah.
I think, if you're doing a webinar, if you're doing some form of a live Q&A or an Ask Me Anything, I think that those are really, really, really high converting stuff on Facebook. We haven't actually done, anything live yet, but it's in our roadmap. But I know a lot of people who are really successful, and we've done ads for other people to drive live webinar leads.
Oh yeah, I mean webinars are huge, especially if you have, especially if you know that you can make a sale in an hour or less or something like that in one conversation. Webinars are killer because you're basically getting a captive sales audience. Yep. They're literally signing up to hear a pitch, and how you deliver that webinar is up to you. But Facebook is extremely effective at advertising webinars. And actually, it really brings me to another point about, generating leads through Facebook ads, which is obviously lead ads. Yep. Lead ads are pretty powerful. The reviews that I get from, our campaign managers as well as people outside of Mute 6 is, like success has been mixed with lead ads. Some people knocking it out of the park. Others, they're not finding success. The key thing if you're doing B2B, and this goes for anybody doing lead ads really, but especially for B2B, is you need to qualify the people that like on your form for a lead ad. You need to make sure that you qualify the people that are filling it out. So don't just have, hey, give me your name and email address. Ask them questions. Have them tell you some information about them. So one, it makes sure that anybody who isn't fully committed to filling out that form, doesn't fill it out. They might see too many questions and be like, this isn't worth it. That's one lead that you don't have to deal with because then we're going to convert down the road anyway. But 2, you want to make sure that you get valuable intelligence. have them tell you something that tells you about either, what their business is like, what challenges they face, what their goals are, anything to help you research.
So what Stu is saying is when you build a lead form inside of lead ads, you can actually ask qualifying questions for users, which will in turn generate a much more high quality lead. Instead of just running lead ads and asking for a name, email, and phone number, you want to actually qualify users to actually become leads for your business. And I think that's very important when you run B2B marketing is you want to make sure that you're just not generating a bunch of shitty leads who won't convert for your product. You want to qualify users as much as possible before you spend the time to reach out to them.
100%. It's a big difference between B2B and B2C marketing. In B2C, you can, kind of do more of a, spray and pray approach. It's like it's you're throwing anything out there. And seeing kind of what's going to stick, and if there's lost traffic or people that fall out of the funnel, okay, whatever. In B2B, that's extremely dangerous. You have, if you get too many unqualified leads in, your salespeople are basically going to be overwhelmed trying to reach out and qualify each one of them. It's going to be a huge drain on your business. You want to be most efficient at top of funnel.
Yeah, but you also want to connect, the lead ads to whatever sales system you're using. Like there's now a way you could connect, the Facebook lead ads to Salesforce, right, Stuart?
Yeah, there's a lot of solutions out there that connect CRMs and email service providers to Facebook. So we've used, I think LeadsBridge in the past.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple other solutions out there.
That's leadsbridge.com.
Yeah.
So just to recap, number one, set up your website custom audience pixel on all pages of your website. State what a conversion is. Number two, content/list messaging. Make a list of the different content that you could offer people that's relevant to your audience. Maybe white papers, maybe it's case studies. Take a look into your Google Analytics and just really figure out which piece of content is the highest generating, piece of content from like organic engagement. C, consider doing a live event or webinar to generate leads of some sort. And then the last but not least, leveraging lead ads and building a custom form inside of Facebook to qualify users for your product to make sure that they're qualified. Then connecting those leads to a CRM, to your CRM system or whatever you're using to manage your sales force. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of people. I think my closing thought would probably be, there's a lot of people out there that ask me, that assume actually that Facebook ads, aren't really suitable for B2B. And I would tell all those people, not true. You should at least try them. There's at least something you can do. At least retarget to people who've been to like a lead gen page. At least try it. Because even if you're not spending a lot of money, you can get some incremental results. And worst case scenario, it doesn't work out and you've confirmed your exact suspicion. Best case scenario, you found another opportunity to generate leads for your business.
One other thing I like to add is like Facebook video is using video ads on Facebook. I think Facebook video is a unique way to really engage with your audience, and using video as an ad to your specific remarketing audience. I feel like a lot of businesses are not using video or not using, selling in a personalized way to get into the funnel. And I think there is a gigantic opportunity out there for you to create a video, a very simplistic video, 15 seconds or less, pitching your offering or pitching your product that'll show up on the newsfeed. And I think that's kind of the future of B2B marketing on Facebook is selling in a very personalized way.
Definitely. Well, yeah, I mean, that's, I think it's probably about it today for, Facebook ads for B2B. We're going to be doing some more podcasts coming up pretty soon, and we'll probably do a follow-up on this one as well with more tips and tricks for B2B businesses using Facebook ads. Signing off today for my buddy Steve Weiss and, of course, me, Stuart Anderson. We will see you next time.
Yep.